Okay, fellas, great start last time around against Barte. That's exactly how we want to play with that VTT. Now we're going back to Moscow. These guys hopefully not quite as good as Lokomotiv, but we weren't too far off those guys on aggregate. So let's try and make our way into these quarterfinals, eh? Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 44 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we continue in the knockouts of the UEFA Conference League. We're in the second knockout round now and we take on Spartak Moscow of Russia over 2 legs. So if you are looking forward to this one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But going into this game, we have played no games since the end of yesterday's episode, that tie against Barte Borisov, and the transfers that we did make to start off this 2025 season. If you missed that episode, I'll leave a link to it above my head in the top right corner. So the only bit of news that we do have to bring you guys before the start of this first game is injury and suspension related. So for our team going into the first leg of this game, which is at our home ground, Laugardarsvola, I say our home ground, our home away from home in Reykjavik for these European games, Bamba is back in the team after serving a suspension for the second leg of yesterday's Barte game, which you guys only saw the highlights of. On the other change that we have been forced into, Patrick Nygaard starting on the right wing, while Wilson Isidore is still out with that injury that he also picked up in that same game yesterday. But Nygaard did score a very good goal late in that second leg to make it 2-0 on the day and 7-0 on aggregate overall. But apart from that, we are at full strength. Mostly our first choice 11, just Nygaard coming in for Isidore, and we have a few more options on the bench now too, with Bamba coming back from suspension. Which means that we've got Coutinho as right back cover on the bench alongside Prada for left back and Anna Christiansson for centre back. We've got Sokolarak and Ledson who can cover the wings. Arnason works his way back onto the bench, as we now do need a backup striking option with no Wilson Isidore in the squad, and Gavioli is a backup midfielder, as is Sokolarak. His good versatility is quite useful for us. Our opposition are Spartak Moscow. They got here by winning Group H of the Conference League, so they did not have to play in that most recent round that we did. This will be an interesting matchup. As I said before, they're not quite doing as well as Lokomotiv Moscow, who we took on in the Europa League, were. So this could be a little bit of an easier opposition for us. Not too much separating those two teams, but fairly similar. And hopefully we can get a good result here in the home league to take into the away one back in Moscow, considering the last time we went to Moscow, we did suffer a pretty heavy 3-0 defeat to Lokomotiv. But we will come back shortly, show you guys what this Spartak Moscow team does look like, and hopefully pick up a good result to take into the away league. And we do have TV coverage for this game. We are the home team. There is our lineup as we ran through before, near full strength apart from that Isidore injury. And here are Spartak Moscow. Having a quick look through, Zobnin in the midfield is a name that I somewhat recognise, but not too many there that give us the shivers too much. Should be a team that we are capable of beating if we play up to our best, and we'll see if we can get a good result here in the home league. 18 minutes gone. The first highlight is in Spartak's favour. Stats-wise, we have been quite dominant in this game so far. We'll show you guys that off the back of that opening goal, because set piece we concede, and it is Zobnin, the player who we did bring up when we did see those lineups before. Larson puts one in. I think Mbayamba there has missed a header, so that's a little bit unfortunate from our reigning player of the season. And somewhat against the run of play, we go 1-0 down early. 37 minutes gone, we have our second highlight this time, hopefully in our favour. A long throw, Diaz to Pedro, and he returns the favour. Diaz gets the ball back for the third time in this play, just on the edge of the box. Can we get an equaliser? Fairly close before the halftime break in this first leg. Some good short passing, just holding the ball up. Hopefully might frustrate Spartak here into giving away a penalty, but nothing too threatening at the moment. Nygaard with a header, and it comes off the upright. They clear it to Diaz, and that is the highlight. It remains 1-0, 5 minutes shy of half-time in the first leg. And that is half time in this first leg, and we are 1-0 down thanks to that set piece goal from Zobnin. But apart from that, we have actually played quite well in this game so far, so we'll give the boys a little bit of a rev up at half time. Also try and hopefully build up some self-belief with this team talk, but we are going to make no changes. Everyone out there is playing decently well. So what I think we are going to do is tell the boys it wasn't good enough, but we still have enough to do something here in the second half, because as I said before, not actually playing that badly. Hopefully we can get a goal and work our way back into this as we kick off the second half 1-0 down. And it is an early throw in here to Spartak Moscow, and a really good interception that from Bjarkason, just runs through the back of that Spartak player, and we do get possession back, and he makes his way towards the corner flag, switches the play there out to Bumber, and we look to get something going here to start off the second half. An early equaliser here would be absolutely ideal. Diaz up to Zvidersky. Pedro, can he slot Nicolucci through? He tries to, and it kisses the top of the crossbar. A good early chance, not quite on target, and it does remain 1-0 Spartak. And not too long off the back of that first highlight, we now do have a corner in Bayamba with a header, yet again just too high, and at the 50-minute mark, still 1-0 Spartak. 67 minutes gone, we have our next highlight in this game, still trailing with just over 20 minutes to go. This would not be a good result to take into the away leg, but we're not playing that badly with this tiki-taka system here at Volsungur. Now the vertical tiki-taka, it looks to be working well. We just haven't quite hit the target enough in this game so far. There's a nice ball there though for Svidersky. Great chance, the goalkeeper at full stretch, but it just goes wide. And with 20 minutes left, we do remain 1-0 down, and I think it's time for us to make our first substitution here as well. Bjarkason down to a red heart, so Ledson can come on for him. We might also try a higher tempo sooner rather than later as well, just to see if that creates a few more chances late in this game, as we do remain 1-0 down with just under 20 minutes left of the first leg. And before we can make that substitution, we do have another highlight here, trying to work something down the right-hand side. We have attempted to put the tempo up too higher, but that hasn't taken effect yet, so we'll just see if something happens here before we do try and lift things late in this game. Bamba tries to put one in there for, well, Pedro, he puts it in the top right corner on the volley, and that is exactly what we were after, an equalising goal inside the last 20 minutes. Hopefully we can kick on from here, lifting this tempo. We've looked quite good in this game so far, stats-wise, being the more dominant team, and finally we have some reward for it. Just under 20 minutes left to go. We get it back to all square at 1-1. And shortly off the back of that goal, now playing on a higher tempo and having made that change out on the left wing, we do have another highlight inside the final third here. Down the right-hand side, Nygaard to Zvidersky, back out to Bamba, who got that first assist. Only 2-star rated, but still a very good player for us out there at right back at the moment. There are a lot more higher rated talents than him at the club these days, but he just seems to be the player who does perform best for us in that role, given a lot of space in there for Nygaard. Tight angle, what can he do? It's a deflection off the post, and they clear it away there. Do Spartak Moscow. We will have a corner. Can we get something off the back of this? Of course, Spartak scoring from a very similar situation in the first half. They do clear that away out to Hendricks there. Do Spartak. Bumba will tidy things up, and we're going to make one more substitution here with a few players now down to red hearts. I think what we're going to do is take Nicolucci Caviglia off for Gavioli, just make sure that he is fresh for the remaining games in this competition. We'll also make another change in the midfield with Svidersky on a 6.8. We will bring Sokolarak on for him, so we'll change that midfield pairing. Those are our last substitutions. 1-1 with 14 minutes left. And not long off the back of that substitution, we have yet another highlight. Spartak clearing that from inside the box. We do get the ball back there from a header. I presume that was from Bamba, and look to drive forward again, this time on a higher tempo compared to when we did score the equalising goal through Yao Pedro, and we hold the ball up quite nicely here inside the final third. Gavioli just outside the box, back out to Bamba, who did get that assist earlier on. Nice ball there for Ledson. Now, is he onside? It's a good finish from the man who is reasonably fresh off the bench in this game. Have we gone 2-1 up with only 10 minutes left? VAR is going to check it, and the goal is awarded, and this could be a good comeback victory for us here. Yet another assist to Bamba, and it looks like Ledson actually is quite comfortably onside there. Good finish into that left-hand corner. We'll just see if we get another replay with the lines on here, but this did look like he was a good stride also onside. In fact, even Pedro is onside there. It's a good goal, and we go 2-1 up late in the first leg. 88 minutes gone, and we have a late free kick in this game. Patrick Nygaard is going to try and put this in with his left foot. See what the new right winger can do. Oh, what a hit that is. That could be a massive goal in this tie. We have ran over the top of Spartak Moscow late. Would have been nice to get one of the rear views on that goal, but it's an absolute stunner. The goalkeeper absolutely unmoved. Patrick Nygaard with a moment of brilliance late in this game, and after being 1-0 down around the 70-minute mark, we turn it around, and it looks like we're going to be going in to the away leg 3-1 up. That is a very good come from behind victory, albeit I felt like we were playing quite well in that first half anyway. The only difference in the second half is we got a lot more shots on target. You can see how the XG changed late when we did lift the tempo late in that game. So that's something which is quite useful to know now, something that we can do if we're just struggling for a goal with this tactic in games. But that is a very good performance in the end. Looked a little bit dicey for about the first hour and a bit, but late goals inside the last 20 minutes to Pedro Ledson and to Patrick Nygaard, our front three, and we will be taking a 3-1 lead to Moscow in the second knockout round of the Conference League, and we'll come back shortly and show you guys highlights of a quite important Deal to Bakar game if we want to retain that as we look to keep ourselves in the hunt towards the top of our group. And this Deal to Bakar game was against Husavik, a team who have pushed us quite close in this competition in the past. In fact, if we lost to these guys late in this stage of the competition last season, we would not have made our way through to the knockouts to try and make it 3 times in a row last year. Luckily we did, and we took them on again here late in the group phase with our rotation team. And with 10 minutes left in this game, a free kick from our new defensive midfielder Galtason for Kurt Shaw at the far post tucks it away, and we did go 1-0 up. Unfortunately though, only 2 minutes later, a very similar goal to one that we did score in yesterday's episode against Bate and Husavik made it 1-1, but then in injury time, we did grab a winning goal, a very important one. Bjarkason off the bench gets a goal with his head. He is in a really good patch of form at the moment. There is our Icelandic winger, and we pick up a vital 3 points in the Deal to Bakar if we are going to be making it 4 times in a row in this competition. A slightly better performance this time around from our rotated team player of the game, Galtason. He looks like he is primed already to be making his way into the first team as soon as we do have the opportunity to get him in there. But a little bit of a scratchy win, but we get the job done, and what that means for the Deal to Bakar with 1 game left in the group stage off the back of the second leg against Spartak Moscow is that we are top of the group, but the last game is against the team who we are tied alongside in Keflavik. So we do actually need to be winning that game because of goal differential. If we do that, we will top the group. Anything less than a win, and we will not be making it 4 Deal to Bakars in a row, albeit that is not really our main focus at the moment. This is, of course, the first year that we have had European knockout football coinciding with this Deal to Bakar, which might be why we're just struggling a little bit compared to past years in the group phase of this competition. But unfortunately, since that game, we did suffer an injury, and it is to our backup right back who was newly registered and newly signed, Guillermo Coutinho. He has pulled his hamstring. That means we are down to 1 right back for the second leg against Spartak Moscow, and that is Bamba. You can see there Isidore quite close to returning as well, not too far away from his hamstring strain. But we now have 2 injuries in our Conference League squad heading in to this game, but the squad that we are putting out is exactly the same one that we put out for the first leg of this tie. The only change does come on the bench where Sigurd Bjornsson does replace Coutinho due to that injury, but it's the same starting lineup. Hopefully we can pick up a similar result, and we'll come back shortly for the second leg away at Spartak Moscow. Hopefully get a better result away in Moscow than we did against Lokomotiv back in the Europa League group stage. And a very early highlight in this game, we are playing left to right in our green in the first half. Same uniforms as the first leg. Nice ball there for Leandro Diaz. Gets inside the box. Will he try and square it? Takes on the shot himself. Bit of a tight angle, but that's promising signs nice and early. And it is 3-1 still to us on aggregate. Mbiyamba there from a corner. It comes crashing off the crossbar. So a couple of good early chances for us there. And we might have another here potentially as we have yet another highlight inside the opening 5 minutes. This is a promising start. Nice ball there for Wow Pedro. Almost one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and it comes crashing off the upright yet again. That's a couple of good early chances. The woodwork denying us there, so looking promising, just not quite the end product so far, but it's a very good start. Still 3-1 up on aggregate. 12 minutes gone, we have yet another highlight in our favour. A free kick to Nygaard, picks out Corbo at the far post, but the angle is a little bit too tight for him to get there on target. But so far we have been well and truly in control of this. Still 3-1 up on aggregate after about 16 minutes. 28 minutes gone, and we do have a throw in here inside the final third. A little bit of a break since that opening flurry of highlights in our favour, but still looking quite dominant in this game to start things off. Lucy Caviglia from outside the box with a goal, which is very reminiscent of the goal which got him goal of the season in 2024. And we go 1-0 up on the day, 4-1 up on aggregate, just shy of the half-hour mark. And that could be the goal which kills this tie off. It has been a good performance from us since the 70-minute mark in that first leg. It's a wonderful strike from our captain. 4-1 Volsungur on aggregate. And shortly off the back of that goal, we have yet another highlight, a free kick again in our favour. Sviderski, a little bit of space there just outside the box as he drives forward, makes his way towards the byline on the left-hand side. Him and Diaz linking up. Now Bonnet, good short passing as we look to frustrate Spartak Moscow here, but so far it's fair to say this vertical tiki-taka is working very, very well at the European level. Hopefully it will start working a little bit better domestically as well. Here there from Well. Pedro goes just wide, but we are creating all the chances here in the first half. 4-1 up on aggregate. 45 minutes gone, very late in this first half. There is a highlight. Spartak Moscow briefly did have possession there, but we win it back and hopefully can get one more attack going. Lovely flick on there from Lucy Caviglia for Well Pedro, but his shot is straight at the goalkeeper. Boy, we have created some good chances in that first half to really kill this tie off, but we still look in a very good position. 1-0 up on the day, 4-1 up on aggregate. Ideally, would have a few more shots on target in that first half, but pretty happy with how we are doing. It would take some turnaround here for Spartak to be going through to the quarterfinals of the Conference League. We'll make no substitutions yet, and hopefully we can keep this up for the last 45 minutes. 51 minutes gone, we have our first highlight here of the second half. A long throw, Diaz to Pedro, back for Bjarkason, and Diaz just holds the ball up here on the left-hand side for us, and we knock it around here. Corbo, Bjarkason, Diaz. Can he link up with someone? Game gets a little bit freezy. Nice ball there for Well Pedro, but the defender puts a good block in there for Spartak Moscow, albeit we might still be on the attack. It's another really good ball there for Pedro, but he blazes it wide. He's been quite off target so far in this game, but it's not too bad. Still 4-1 up on aggregate. Okay, up to the 61-minute mark here, and I think we're going to make our first substitution. We're going to do the one that has been suggested by our assistant manager here with Corbo, 1 yellow card away from suspension. I think it's a smart time to take him off, so Prada will come on for him. We'll make that change, and shortly off the back of that, we do have a free kick. Nygaard puts one into the mixer, but it falls straight into the hands of Volkov. No one there at the far post for us this time. It does remain 1-0 on the day, 4-1 to Volsungur on aggregate, looking quite safe at the moment with a half hour to go, albeit if Spartak did get a goal back, that would change. We really should be up by more than one goal on the day. Well, Pedro in particular has had a lot of chances, just hasn't been hitting the target enough so far, but we are on the attack yet again here through Lucy Caviglia. Nice ball there for Nygaard. Pedro was an absolute mile offside, but I'm not too sure about Nygaard. We might go 2-0 up on the day, 5-1 up on aggregate here with a half hour to go. That would absolutely kill this game off. We wait for VAR to make his decision, but unfortunately the goal has been ruled out for offside. Nygaard must have just straight offside there. We wait for if Lucy played that ball a little bit sooner, I think we would have been in there. Not quite sure what Well Pedro was doing. He was an absolute mile offside, but it remains 4-1 to Volsungur on aggregate with just under 25 minutes left to go. And up to the 70-minute mark now, we are yet again being suggested that a player be taken off as he would get suspended if he picked up another yellow card this time. It is Leandro Diaz. So what we're going to do is bring Chris Jansson on for him and switch him around with Raul Prada, who came on before. That's 2 subs used, still in a very good position here with 20 minutes left. And only a few minutes later, time for us to make our last substitution. We have Sviderski on a 6.7 rating and a red heart, so we will take him off. So Kularek can come on for him. That's all our subs used. still looking good. 4-1 up on aggregate. 85 minutes gone. Spartak were on the attack there, but some good blocking there from Anna on the Spartak attacker, and we do get the ball to Sarah Fellini, and hopefully we can wrap this up in style, make it 2-0 on the day, which, based on what we've seen, would feel deserved. As I said before, this feels like Raul Prada hasn't quite had his shooting boots on. I should be saying Raul Pedro. In fact, it's another great chance for him, but he puts it wide. Yeah, just hasn't quite been hitting the target enough today, has Raul Pedro, but we enter the last few minutes still up by 3 goals on aggregate, and we should be making our way through to the Conference League quarterfinals. A very good first time in knockout football in Europe for us, and hopefully this will also boost up the coefficient quite nicely as well. As we showed you guys a few episodes ago, it was actually less than what we did last season off the back of our Europa League run. This time Nicolucci Caviglia with a great chance, but yet again we can't hit the target. We have had a stack of shots but have only had 3 on target in this game, so that's a little bit disappointing, but we are playing well. Hopefully we're not as bad as this against whoever we do get in the quarterfinals of the Conference League. We should have a draw coming up shortly off the back of this. And now Patrick Nygaard with a late chance. He puts that over for Bjarkason at the near post. Can we get a goal? Inside injury time. Bonnet with a shot blocked. Falls to Bjarkason. He does lose possession there. Spartak Moscow clear it, and that's actually really good work there from Mbiyama to get possession back for us. Can we make it 2-0 right on the stroke of fuel time? Bjarkason in a very good touch of form. Prada back for Bjarkason, tries to square that for Raul Pedro. Can't quite get the job done, but we do keep possession. Can we get one more dangerous shot off in this game? Pedro tries to curve that top right corner yet again. Can't hit the target. This time it was from a bit further out than some of his previous ones though, but we are going to win this tie pretty comfortably in the end. Just that early set piece goal in the first leg for Spartak Moscow, but apart from that, they haven't really threatened us across the 2 legs. It was a very good comeback in the latter stages of that first leg, and that did prove vital, going 3-1 up into the second leg, and in the end we win this one 1-0 as well. As I said before, probably should have won that game by more. Only 3 shots on target, a 3.06 XG, so a slightly disappointing performance on the day, but very good over both legs, and we make our way through to the quarterfinals of the Conference League, and that is something I was not expecting to say a few episodes ago. We are doing quite well, it looks like, in Europe this season. If we have a quick look at the other results in the Conference League semi-finals, Everton, Legia Warsaw have made their way through. That would be a really good draw, in fact, because we did beat those guys way back in Champions League qualifying. Lille through Napoli, who we took on in the group stages of this competition last year, also through Fiorentina, Shakhtar, and Vitória from Portugal have knocked out AZ, which is a little bit of an upset. That would actually be a very kind draw for us if we got those guys, but those are the 7 teams in the hat for the quarterfinal alongside us, and we'll come back shortly and see who we get to start off next week. And here we are about to have the quarterfinal draw and semi-final draw for the Conference League. It'll be interesting to see who we get as we ran through before. Everton, Fiorentina, Legia Warsaw, Lille, Napoli, Shakhtar, and Vitória de Guimarães from Portugal. Vitória or Legia Warsaw would be absolute dream scenarios. We probably want to avoid the likes of Napoli ideally. And here are Legia up first. We do not get them. They draw Shakhtar, so that leaves a few good teams. Okay, hopefully here we get Vitória, and we don't. It's Fiorentina, which means we are going to be left with a tough tie for the quarterfinals of this competition. Everton, Lille, or Napoli. Everton will take on Lille, so we're going to be taking on Napoli, a rematch from the Conference League group stages last year. We do have a stronger squad this time around, but they still have some very good players. Do Napoli, the likes of Divock Origi. We'll have a quick look at them in a minute, and having a quick look at the semi-final draw. If we get past Napoli, I rate us to be a good chance of actually making the final, taking on one of Legia Warsaw or Shakhtar. But we are taking on Napoli. A quick look at those guys before we might have a little bit of a look at the coefficient, as I'm not too sure if we're going to be improving on this much more off the back of this draw. But looking at their tactic compared to what it was last season, it's a 5-2-3, you could almost argue, or 5-2-1-2. Origi and Brenner up front. They've got Lindelof playing right back. Having another look through, they've got Malang Sarr at the back, and they have a quite good player there in Ricky, I believe. I think he's quite high up in terms of assists in Serie A and the Conference League. If we have a look over at that, indeed, he tops the assist charts in Serie A. So a very good midfielder there in Samuel Ricky, but this is without a shadow of a doubt our toughest test probably on the whole in European football so far this season, taking on Napoli in the Conference League quarterfinals. But if we can get through that, as I said before, we would be taking on one of Legia Warsaw or Shakhtar in the semi-finals. And I think if we beat Napoli, that is a very winnable semi-final, and we can potentially start dreaming of our first European title here at Volsungur, albeit that is a lot easier said than done with Napoli in our way. And the other thing to take note of is that quarterfinal is just under a month away. So that means in the meantime, we can start focusing our first team just a little bit more potentially on trying to retain that deal to Bakar. And we'll probably have to schedule a few friendlies between now and then anyway, just to keep our match fitness up and hopefully get those second 11 players a little bit more familiar with our new tactic. And as I said before, we'll just have a quick look at what the coefficient does look like now off the back of a few wins in the knockout stages of European football. We'll go down a little bit further than I did last time so that my head's not blocking the Iceland number. And indeed, we have jumped up quite considerably since the end of the group stage of the Europa League. We are now on a 6.125 for this season. And that means as a whole, we are on a 16.333 for the start of next season. And that means we would jump all the way above Kazakhstan into 29th place. And if we have a look at the qualification places, I imagine we'll be getting a little bit closer to going a little bit deeper into qualifying stages of various tournaments if we did do that. And indeed, we would have two teams entering the second qualifying round of the Conference League instead of the first, where they all currently enter, which would be very nice indeed. So that would actually be quite a boost for this challenge if we can keep this up and try and rise to where Kazakhstan currently are for a few seasons' time, when that change would take effect in terms of qualification places. But we are on for a decent jump up the rankings inside the top 30 for the start of the next European season, thanks to our current form in the Conference League, making the quarterfinals. But that will do it for today's episode. It was a good one, a very comfortable in the end 4-1 win over Spartak Moscow. In fact, there's one more thing I need to cover off. I've just seen the Husavik result pop back up, and it has reminded me that we have actually sold a player to Husavik. It is Christian Coffey. He is a player now with our bunch of right wingers that we brought in yesterday's episode, who was not really going to get a lot of game time here at the club. He has joined Husavik on loan for the rest of the season off the back of that game we played against them in the deal to Bakar, and there is a mandatory future fee of about £20,000 as part of that deal. It's a little bit frustrating because I thought Valerakovic, according to the social feed in game, were after this guy, but they never put a bid in for him. That would have actually been quite useful, strengthening those guys up for their Conference League qualification at the start of the next European season, but they never put a bid in for him. Husavik did, so we have let him go there on loan for this season, but he will be joining them permanently at the end of it for a £20,000 fee. Could have got a little bit more out of a French club potentially, but I think we'll take the half price considering that he will be staying in Iceland, so hopefully he can keep this league and the surrounding teams in behind us nice and strong. But that now will definitely do it for today's episode. As I was saying before, good win over Spartak Moscow, and we still could retain our deal to Bakar. In terms of when we will be back for the next episode, I think it depends on how we get on in this game coming up against Keflavik, because if we do well in that, we might be able to come back for the semi-final and potentially final of the deal to Bakar, and that will tie us over in that month-long gap before we do get into that Conference League quarterfinal against Napoli. If we don't make the final stages of the deal to Bakar, then we will just jump straight into that Napoli game at the start of next week. So not entirely sure what we will be doing when we do come back for the next episode on Monday. Could be the deal to Bakar, or it could be the Conference League quarterfinal against Napoli. But if you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video. And if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until next week, where hopefully we can go a little bit deeper in this Conference League. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.